Hi guys. Today we're going to have a look at organizational line using citing and trying to get the scale of three objects in proportion on our page. So we're again translating three-dimensional objects into a drawing. And so how do we do that? It starts getting really tricky, but if you have been practicing your citing, then it will make things a whole lot easier. But let's start from the beginning. So again, citing, we're using our pencil, and I'm looking at like the comparison between all of these different shapes and sizes and scale. I'm thinking that my single measurement might be the best thing, might be the radius of the ball, since it's the smallest object, but it's not too small. So start from the start. Arm fully extended, one eye closed. And let's just measure that ball. So it's about that. And then let's think about how that ball relates, how that size relates to everything else. So how many times does it go into the box? Let's go. 1, 2, almost 3. But where are we measuring from? Because that box is on an angle. So let's think about this line here as the one that we're going to measure. So let's catch our standard measurement again. I need my arms very straight. Okay, 1, 2, almost 3. Okay, what about our standard measure? The width of the box. Actually, let's go right across. Imagine that it's actually two-dimensional. We'll go 1 to 2, so it's pretty close to 2. Here's our standard measure. Let's look at this. 1 and 2 with a tiny bit on the bottom. Okay, so I think that ball is going to be a good standard measure. But let's decide where we want everything on the page. Let's say that we want the upper part, the top part of this drawing to be here. We want the bottom part to be here. And we're going to translate those measurements using our citing onto the page. So let's get our central line going again. And let's think about, we don't want this drawing to go off the page either, so let's just sort of think that this is the area that we want to be drawing in. All right. Now, I do apologize because I just can't get these, I can't get the camera and the drawing pad on the same angle right now, so you're seeing a little bit distorted subject and a little bit foreshortened drawing, but you'll get the idea. Okay, so closing my eye to sight, arm fully extended. Let's get our main measurement and decide how long this drawing is going to be and how to fit it into this space. So let's see. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we can basically divide part of the drawing up into thirds, but that is not going to be, that's going to get us to here. That's not going to get us to the front part. So let's also, so we can divide into 3 here, but that will get us to here. So what is this last piece, which if we look at the ball and we look at, I would say it's half that measurement of the ball. And I think that that is actually a good point to measure to. So let's get our ball again. And arm extended, remember, keep that arm extended. And it looks like a half there as well. So we could say that our drawing is going to be, we could divide our drawing into 3.5. So let's do that. And the easiest way might be actually to just shorten this slightly and then divide this into 3, and then we'll work out our last little half. So let's divide it into thirds. I think that looks good. And then this becomes our standard measurement here. And I am going to actually, I'm going to take this across to the side here. And we're going to use that as our measurement that we keep coming back to. All right. And yes, you can just see that. That's good. Okay. So this is our standard measurement, and as we get a lot more marks on the page, it just helps to have that outside so that you can remember which was your original measurement. So this is basically the measurement of our ball. So we've got 1, 2, and 3, and we need to have a half of this measurement. So we're going to cut that in half and measure that. And actually, I've almost got it right. Okay. So whatever way that you can work out with fractions how to do this is good, but for the moment it's just find your way around this. It's just a way of going backwards and forwards and actually finding your own method with sighting, and you can use other things. We could have used the width of this, or we could have used the height of this as our standard measurement, but we've made our choice, and so this is what we're going to kind of think about at the moment. Okay, so let's think about the width of this drawing now. Let's catch our standard ball measurement again, and I'm going to measure from that far corner. 1, 2, 3, and a tiny bit. So we're, let me see again. It's good to just keep checking on yourself. Three and a bit, yeah. All right, so we're going to, and it is very weird, I'm doing this through the camera, but we're going to basically use our measurement here to find 3. So let's just start by using our full measurement, getting our first third. 1, 2, we're just going to go a smidge out from there because it was like another third. So we could actually just cut this into threes and then put a sixth on either side. So here's our sixth. There. And about there. Okay, so this is actually our outer edge. Okay. Oh gosh, I have to come and stand from this angle. All right. Okay, lots of scribbles, but anyway, organizational line. Let's just say we're getting a bit gestural. All right. So how to organize these objects? We now need to know where this point falls within this area. So let's think about that, because that's going to be the one thing that hits this line here. So back to our standard measurement. 1, and let's see. About 2/3 of the ball. So 2/3, if we cut this into thirds, so 2 of them comes to here. So we could say that that point of that box is going to come about, it's going to touch about here on the outside edge of our drawing. And then let's see, let's just see where the top edge hits as well. So the top edge is actually going to be the ball, but as far as the forgot to extend my arm again. 1, 2, let's say a half. So we can now use our measure here and say that this box goes 1, 2 and a half, and that is going to be the top edge of our box. It's going to hit somewhere along that line there. Okay, and so if we're thinking also about our our front part of our page being this here, we can also look at the negative space to see where this one is placed and where it comes through. So continuously looking at these things to understand where they're going to go. So this outside edge of the box is going to actually fall on this line here. So in this sense, we have part of our box already. This is the front point. Now we have to work out how many of these measurements fit into this front edge. So let's again take our measurement of the ball and maybe a half. So 1.5. So then we can go back to our translated measurement here, and we can go 1 and let's see, a half should be to there. No, that doesn't sound right. Let's try that again. it's almost 1 and a tiny smidge, so I keep forgetting to stretch my arm out full extension, so, and I'm moving around quite a lot too, so let's just say 1 is to there and a tiny smidge. So we're almost on the center line actually. So this part of the box is going to hit this line, and that's it. So our box is now here, and we need to find this distance here, or at least this distance here, in order to catch the diagonal that's going this way. Okay, so let's try for the height of let's try for the height of this top part and see. So it would seem to be about a half of the ball. So we know where the top line is, so we can take our measurement again, and we know that halfway down there is going to be the front part of that box. And actually we can draw a line down to that front point, and now we're starting to get somewhere. Okay, so we've got how that the top of the box, we have the actual measurement there. Now where is that ball coming to? The ball is basically coming to the front part here. So we can actually find the height of the ball now as well on the box. And it's pretty much right at the front edge there. So I want to check that. I feel like I can get that. Now we have, so from here to here, we can get that diagonal. We can also get this diagonal. And we need to get this one at the bottom. But our ball definitely needs to sit up higher. Okay, so let's go back in and check. One is the ball, it's to there. Halfway through the ball. So with circular objects you can really just work using a cross. get our measurement by finding exactly halfway through here. Okay, so here's our mapping out of where the ball is, and we can curve that line. All right. So something has gone wrong with my drawing here of the edges of the box, because I have been thinking not about this point here, which is where the ball basically sits. So it's on the same line as the ball. So that was where my mistake was. So let's just change that. Going back up to here. Okay, that's looking a little more convincing. Okay, now where does this part of the box hit the ball? Is it about half, or is it... Let's see, I need another pencil. It's about a third of the way through. So we have our cross. We can divide that into 3, and that is about where that other edge hits. Okay. Alright, so you see it starts getting a little complicated here. But we're heading there. We're getting there. And I'm drawing with a great camera in front of me, so it's a little odd. I'm just going to take out that line that was wrong just to stop myself from getting confused again. But I do want you to keep your organizational lines in, only if there's something like that, erase it, but I do want to see all of this on your actual first drawings, just so that I can try and see your process and how it's working. All right, so let's get the height of this box and just finish it off. So we're going to go 1, it's like 1.5, 1, and 1.5. No, we're pretty close there. And then we can catch our diagonal line there. And it should be the same on the other side, so let's just 1.5. About there. And we know that those lines are parallel, in fact, whereas through the camera they don't look parallel, but they are. Okay, you will not be doing this through a camera, so you won't have these problems. Okay, so we now have our sphere and we have our box. Now, let's think about the space that's between these objects. And how can we measure that? Let's just see. It looks like a quarter. So we can go back to this, we can find the half, and we can find the quarter. And looks like it's about that. So then we can start drawing a line down here for the side of our golden bottle. And let's see. Where is it? So it's coming through the ball at about a third. So we've got our thirds marked here. So we can extend this line out this way and know that that's where the top of that golden bottle is going to come. Now, how many of our standard units go into this? Let's see. 1, 2. Oh, this one might be a little easier until we get to the ellipses. So we've got 1 and 2, and the base of that comes to about here, but I just want to measure that again. Two, yeah, it is. Okay, so okay. I feel like it might be a little lower. Maybe it's more like a quarter. So let's divide our ball into half, then quarter, and then, okay, that makes more sense. So that's about there. That's going to be the top. And then we can do 1, 2. Okay, that seems a little more reasonable. Okay, so we cross that. We can cross that, and the points of those curves will hit here and here. I'm going to take this little one out just to stop us from getting confused. Okay, so now how many times can we need to find the width of this, because we've basically got the height, which is here. Now we need the width, so let's go back to our standard measure. That ball. Look at it. I think it's 1.5. Looks like 1.5. So then we go back to our translated measure, which is here, and we know that the one side is here, so we can do 1. Oops. And we can do a half, which will take us to here. So now we know that this is actually, oh gosh, that's actually our side. So this is now our cylinder area here. Okay, sorry, I'm bumping the drawing all the time. Okay, now let's try and get our ellipse here and work out. Maybe we'll start taking another measurement. 1, how many times does this go into the body? 2.5. So we need to find maybe another measure. Let's just the top. 1, 2, 3. It's always awkward measurements. 1. Sorry, I'm just getting battery warnings. Let's try that again. 1, 2, 3, and a tiny bit. 1, 2, 3.5. I always get the 3.5 business. So let's just divide. Let's think about our little extra bit here, but let's divide this part into 3. Let's see. So there's 3 and let's see, that extra tiny little bit there. Okay. So now we need to, now we know that that whole top part of the lid from here to here is that, and then the body is this part here. Okay, so the front part of that ellipse is going to hit there, top is going to hit there. We can do our cross measurement again and divide that into half, and that means that we will catch the edges of the ellipse here and here. So now we can actually draw light diagonal lines. Okay, and then we can round them out so that they are more correct. We're getting that little pinched shape there, but let's just keep working on it until it gets nicely circular. I'm looking from around the side of my camera. It's funny. Okay, so that's kind of the top part. But then we've also got just this lid area. So let's see, how many times does that lid go into the body? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yay, an easy measurement finally. So we can cut this into 2 and then into 4. And that gives us our front area for the space of that lid. Now we know that that hits here and here. And we can think about another ellipse happening here. We could divide this into 2. We know that that's going to be where it hits on either side. We can do again our, and then create our circular. Okay, so now we have to find the negative space. We need to look at that negative space underneath the golden container and just see what we think that angle might be. And if that's 12, thinking about on a clock, if that's 12, that's 1, that's 2, I'm thinking 2 and 10 seem like reasonable measurements. So let's just do the 2 and the 10. That will find us our intersections, and from there we can curve that line around. Okay, so a bit rough. I'm sort of struggling with this demo straight ahead um, around my camera. If you saw what was going on, you'd think it was pretty funny. But that gives you the framework for how to deal with different objects, and there's many different ways of doing this. But this is this is a good start for how you can work these things out, and and get your framework before you start your proper drawing, but giving you the proportional measurements so that you can carry on. Okay, that was long. I'm sorry, but I hope that it will help. Thanks so much.